We got a ton of big class changes coming into effect this week on resets. So if you're on this list, most likely your cast got a big buff. But before we talk about that, let's talk about a few other things here. Blizzard, as you mentioned in chat, changing their TOS. That's right. So if you play Classic WoW, you might want to double check on how trading gold works because you might be going against these new TOS. Basically, they're saying if it is supported in-game, it is a supported transaction.
Let us lay waste to
Rich, thank you for the sub on YouTube. I appreciate that, man. Besides that, if it is an unsupported transaction, meaning swapping gold between versions of the game or other realms or factions, it is prohibited now. So Blizzard always kind of took the stance that it was kind of like a shunned upon, looked down upon kind of thing. Unsupported, as they say. Now it is prohibited. So if you do it, there is a chance that you can get banned. What am I talking about? Basically, swapping gold between characters in Classic WoW was like a big thing, especially across servers and stuff. So trading gold across realms or factions in Classic WoW. This is the thing they're talking about. It's still allowed in the modern version of the game, where you got basically you could have characters on different realms and shit, cross faction, warbound currencies and all that. So it's not a big deal in there. But when it comes to WoW Classic, yes, be careful. Trading gold this way is no longer allowed. The questions, again, followed up with, can I trade gold with another player between WoW and Classic Modern? Can I trade gold between friends in WoW and Classic Modern? Again, the answer to this was, trading gold across WoW realms or factions or different versions of WoW, Modern to Classic, is prohibited. Involvement in a trade of this nature results in account penalties up to and including account closure. So this is a change to the TOS. Pay attention to it. If you were previously participating in things like this, don't do it anymore. You could get banned. Moving on, 11.1.5, we already know, release on April 22nd. A quick run around of the news here. Phase 8 of the Scarlet Monastery raid and everything else going on in Season of Discovery is now live. Watch some people do that over the weekend. Honestly, props to Blizzard. This is a freaking cool thing, and I kind of wish that retail got some kind of version of a Scarlet Monastery raid, but this thing looks really cool. I've been seeing people enjoying it. A nice one on Season of Discovery. And then Mists of Pandaria beta sign up. That's right. The beta for the game that had already been released years ago is now coming back, and you can sign up for it if you want to. Moving on to this tooltip that caused a lot of problems to people, a lot of heartburn. The Archon.
The second blue post from last article.
What is there? The second blue post. Okay, this one. What do you mean, Buzzwill? Codes are an out-of-game resource that cannot be traded for gold. That has always been the policy. So what is this? Vericus also clarifies selling and redeeming codes for gold has always been against TOS. Oh, so we're talking about codes for different things. You are not allowed to buy and sell WoW item products or services for real money. A code is considered an out-of-game item. Okay, so this does affect retail then, if we're talking about this real quick. If a code is redeemed and the item could be traded or could be sold in-game. So the response line is basically saying, if it can be traded in a trade window, auction house, or through the mail, you can trade gold for it with another player. But say you have some kind of, I guess, like the Iron Skyreaver code that I had, that I gave away in stream. If I sold that for gold, that would go against TOS. So there you go. Yeah, be careful. That affects retail as well. So thank you, Camp Shady, for pointing that out for us. Yeah, just watch yourselves, guys, when it comes to transactions, and, well, you don't want to get banned over something stupid. Speaking of something stupid, the Archon add-on. We talked about this, basically showing people's parses live in-game. I still think it's going to be a problem, but evidently they're trying to quell the concerns from people by saying, hey, now there used to only be the option where basically you ghost yourself from this thing or you show yourself. Now you can select specifically what you're visible on and what you're not. So you could still be visible on the website, but just invisible towards the add-on. I still say this isn't really a solution, because if somebody tries to look at your parses in-game and they're not available, they're going to assume either, one, you've never run a fucking raid in your life, or two, you suck so bad and your parses are so shit that you don't want to show people what they are. So it's really still like an opt-in to play the game, or opt out at your own peril, where you're just not going to get invited because the elite parsers don't want to fucking do this shit. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, nice thank you for the hype train, guys. I do appreciate that. I still think this add-on should just not happen at all, personally. Parsing is what it is. People can enjoy parsing on their own time, and if people really are into this, they can look it up on the website, but to put it directly into the game with an add-on, to me just creates a whole nother pressure cycle of people needing to parse, wanting to parse more, to get into groups, and then thus not doing the mechanics, and you got to deal with people standing in fire because they're fucking parsing. Corruption enchants. We talked about these just last week. Blizzard clearly watches my my content, right? Because I complained about this. The corruption buffs were basically not buffs at all. They were like 0.7 to 1% buffs to your DPS. Well, Blizzard heard the complaints from everybody. Alley-oop.
Have a realm to destroy.
Thank you for the follow and welcome to our Scourge. And decided to buff the shit out of these things. So we're getting 186% buffs, 131%, 186, 131 across the board for all the 233% here. Huge buffs across the board to all of the new corruption enchants that are coming. Again, these are new helm enchants that we'll be able to get in this part of season 2 where it kicks off and you get all this stuff. This is only going to last for season 2. So the fact that they were so shit was going to really make them not fun. I'm happy to see that these are going to be fun, in fact, bringing back some of the fun of corruption again. And now they're actually worthy of being enchanted on your helm because it looks like they're going to do more damage than previously thought. And finally, Season 2 class buffs kicking in tomorrow's reset, guys. This is the reset of 4.15, this week's reset. We'll be getting huge class buffs. If your class is on this list, you're about to get buffed out the ass. Here it is. So for Death Knights, we have Blood, Frost, and Unholy. Tons of damage increases here. We got Exterminate damage by 30%, Wave of Souls by 25%, Reaper's Mark 30%. Oh, I might have to check this out if Reaper's Mark is viable again for Deathbringer. Sandlayan, Blood if Blood is Lifeblood Beast. Also 35% was 50. Now explodes for 35% of the damage was 50, so that's a little bit of a nerf there. Going down to Frost here, Deathbringer. Exterminate 30%, Wave of Souls 25%, Reaper's Mark 30% buff here, and Unholy, who's fucking doing amazing right now. Let's see what this one is. Blood, this is a little bit of a nerf to Unholy here. 20% damage for the explosion was 25%, so a little bit of a nerf there, but Unholy is right now part of the meta, so I don't feel too bad for them. We got Demon Hunter here, Vengeance, Sigil of Silence, base duration now 2 seconds was 4, so a little bit of a cut down there, and then Eldrachi Reaver, Incorruptible Spirit, effects now 10%, was 15% for Vengeance, specialization only. Is Vengeance getting nerfed? This might be the only one getting hard nerfed a little bit on this list here. I thought these were all buffs, but this is not a good thing, I don't think. So, Vengeance Demon Hunters in the chat, you could speak up to this, but this doesn't look good for you. Okay, now we got Druid. We got Guardian. Oh, Jesus, I just freaking jumped down here. We got Guardian Druid. Elun's Chosen. Boundless Moonlight. Fury of Elun. Final Flash and energy damage reduced by 10%. Oh my god, there's some reductions on here. Minor Mirror damage reduced by 10%, so Guardian getting a little bit of a nerf here. Balance, all spell damage increased by 3%, Starfile damage reduced by 10%, Star Surge damage increased by 3%, so they're trying to rebalance some of these spells here. Power of the Goldrin damage increased by 3%, and then Elun's Chosen, Boundless Moonlight, as I said before, Fury of Elun, Final Flash energy reduced by 10%, minor damage reduction by 10%. I don't know. This is not all buffs here. Some people are not doing too good here. Blood DK still won't be meta. I know they still won't be meta, but I mean, at least we can hit better than just a Limp Noodle. Now we'll be like a semi-al dente noodle, I guess. Go get ready for work, Josh. No problem. Here we go. Moving on to Evoker Augmentation, the red-headed stepchild of WoW. All spells and abilities and damage increased by 8%. We'll see if this still makes them viable. I don't know if this is enough. They are so down low right now, it hurts to even look at an augmentation evoker, let alone invite one to your 5-man group. And then Breath of Eons accumulates 10% of the damage, was 8%, so better damage reduction there for you guys. And moving on to Mage, here we go. Arcane and Fire, currently battling it out actually for meta, or Arcane and Fire, or I should say actually it's Frost is one of them. But anyways, Arcane damage, all damage dealt increased by 4%, that's good for them. Arcane was kind of lagging behind. Sun Fury. Arcane Phoenix, area of effect spell damage, now increased by 25%, and Meteorite increased by 10%. Nice buffs there for Arcane. And then we got Fire here. Frostfire Bolt damage increased by 15%, Frostfire Infusion damage increased by 30%, and Isothermic Core now calls down a Comet Storm at 300% effectiveness, was 250%. So there you go. Some buffs for Fire. I think Fire is going to be meta. based on these buffs, because Fire was already riding that edge of meta. I think these are going to push him over the top, so Fire's in a really good spot. Arcane's been bottom. Arcane has been bottom. Yeah, I agree. I misspoke. It was Frost and Fire that were really kind of competing for the meta slot, and I think Fire now just getting a little bit of a buff here. That's going to be good for them. Monk, here we go. We got all 3 specs here. Brewmaster. Brewmaster's been a tough one to play. Here we go. Brewmaster balance. Increased armor by 55%. Was 45. Mastery. Elusive Brawler's bonus to dodge chance increased by 5%. Tiger Palm damage increased by 15%. Rising Sun Kick increased by 15%. And Celestial Brew. Absorb increased by 20%. So some nice buffs there for Brewmaster. They really did need it. Who the fuck's still playing Brewmaster right now? Mistweaver. We got Jade of Empowerment now increases Crackling Jade Lightning damage by 2,000%. Was 2,500. So a little bit of a nerf there. And cleaves for an additional 25% effectiveness. Was 15. So a bit of a rebalance there. Less damage, but more effectiveness. So we'll see how that balances out. Shaloon's Gift, healing increased by 15%, and rushing wind kick damage increases renewing mist, healing by 200%, was 150, so a nice buff there. Windwalker, efficient training increases the damage of your energy spenders by 40%, was 20, and then one verse many increases damage for Fists of Fury, or the Fister of Fury. Don't want to take that one in the middle of the night. A 20% was 15%. So there you go, a nice little buff for Windwalker there. Paladin. Yes, the most played class in the game. The chosen of the many, not of the few, of the many. Here we go. Holy. Shining Righteous now requires 4 shields of Righteous to activate. Free World of Glory. Light of the Dawn was 5, so it's going to proc more often there. Righteous Judgment chance now increased to 100%, was 50. Veneration now transfers 280% of the damage done into healing, was 225. These are nice buffs. A Just Reward healing increased by 80%. Damn. And then Light of the Martyr no longer transfers over heals into healing absorb. I guess a bit of a nerf there. Nice, though. Nice for Holy. Holy going to do much better now. And then Retribution, one of the most played class specs in the game. Here we go. Herald of the Sun. Gleaming Rays now increases damage of Holy Power spenders by 15% while Dawning Light is active. Oh, so there you go. Was only 5%. That's a buff there. Herald of the Sun. Sun's avatar damage increased by 50% and Dawn Light damage increased by 40%. So they're trying to make Herald of the Sun more viable, I guess. Rhett Pally's in the chat. I don't know. Is Herald of the Sun not the meta for you guys right now? It looks like they're trying to push it, so it might have been one that people weren't choosing a lot of in terms of hero towns. So there you go. Herald of the Sun buffed out the butt there. And then Priest right here. It's Templar for now. Yeah, so that's what you usually see. The one that's not being picked is the one that gets buffed. We got Priest here. Discipline. Let's see what's going on in Discipline. Wheel and Woe. Now increases the absorb of Power Ward Shield by 5% per stack. Was 10%. Penance damage healing reduced by 15%. Allies of Atonement now heals for 28%. Atonement is now 125% more effective outside of raids, was 100. And then we see Void Blast damage increased by 10%. So some rebalancing here. It looks like a little bit of a reduction here. But mostly it looks like buffs for Discipline Priest. They should be doing a little bit better now. Holy. Let's see how Holy Priest is doing. Can Holy Priest actually heal? Let's see. Smacked by the Nut Fab? Yeah. Or the Nerf Fab. Yeah. Holy Nova damage increased by 30%. Prayers of Healing increased by 15%. What is this? Prayerful Litany causes Prayer of Healing to heal its primary target by 125. Was 75, so that's a buff there. Prayer of Healing reduced by 10%. That's the first nerf here we see for them. Prismatic Echoes increases the Echo of Light healing by 8% to 15%, was 5 to 10. So that's a nice little buff there. Same here, 20 to 40, was 15 to 30. And then all healing done increases by 3%, not applied to PvP combat. So mostly buffs for Holy here. Looks like Holy's getting a bit of a buff this time around, which is good. I think Holy needed it. Nerf Bat. Yeah, I know. I read it wrong. Sam can't even see it's a nerf and thinks it's a buff. What did I miss here? For Discipline? No, Discipline's getting mostly nerfed. But I did see some buffs here towards their healing. Discipline right now is meta. So I don't think these are really going to change that much. You're a legend and goated at everything you do. Keep living your best life. Wow, Zephyr coming in here. That might be my mom's Twitch account. Thanks, Mom. But no, seriously, thanks, Zephyr. I appreciate that, man. Samantha, just guess one word pronunciation. Basically, look, Look, Discipline, I think, is still going to be in a fine spot. If I misspoke on some of these being a buff instead of a nerf, I don't see any of these changing the game too much for them, but I guess Discipline Priest can speak more to that than me. Okay, Shaman, here we go. Earth Shock damage increased by 8%. Elemental Blast increased by 8%. Farseer, Ancestral Lava Burst damage increased by 15%. Ancestral Elemental Blast increased by 50%. Guys, I think that's a buff. I think Elemental's getting buffed. Yep, I think I read that right. Enhancement Shaman, here we go. Tempest secondary target damage increased by 25%. Tempest primary target damage increased by 30%. Awakening Storm damage increased by 30%. Stormcaller now increased damage and critical strike of your nature spells by 10%. Was another buff. Shamans are getting the love. This is enhancement and elemental, both getting buff. Let's see if restoration finishes the trifecta here. Ancestral Lava Burst damage increased by 15%. Ancestral Elemental Blast damage increased by boom. All 3 specs for shamans getting buffed. All 3 getting buffed. This is amazing. Elemental Shaman, Enhancement Shaman, Restoration Shaman. Congratulations. You are on the buff train. Let's see what Warlock's doing here. I think Warlock's the final one. Yes, it is. Okay, here we go. Affliction. Agony damage increased by 10%. Soul Rot damage increased by 30%. Vile Taint. That's a nice one. Damage increased by 40%. Watch your taints, boys and girls. 40% more damage coming your way from Affliction Warlock there. Demonology. Demon Bolt damage increased by 20%. Wild Imp damage increased by 25%. Soul Strike damage increased by 35%. Pact of Arid Ruin. Doomguard damage increased by 30%. Buffs, and buffs. Let's see if Destruction finishes it out. Cataclysm damage increased by 35%. Rain of Fire increased by 25%. Buffs across the board for Warlock. Looking good. Overall, guys, buffs for most people. We saw a couple nerfs in here. Evidently, I misspoke on, I don't know, what was it, Priest, Discipline Priest. But they're meta right now. Fire Mage. Probably going to finish off the meta competition there with Frost as they were fighting it back and forth before. So that's good to see. Overall, good things. And hell yeah, Blood DK getting some love. Gotta love it. That is all in terms of news.